viewers, welcome to St. Dominicus Media, the voice of Selfmedication. Today we come your way with a discussion on the topic, the heart of drugs. You are with me, your host, Elikem Kwabla Akako. Before we go into the discussion, I will humbly ask that you subscribe to our channel. With me for the discussion is a seminarian and a pharmacist, an expert in the topic of discussion. But before we go into the discussion, I will humbly ask him to introduce himself to us. Hello, Brother Selassie.
Hi, Brother.
You are welcome to St. Dominicus Media.
Thank you very much.
Today, we are having a discussion on the topic, the heart of drugs. But before we go into the discussion, I'll humbly ask that you introduce yourself to us.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Elikem. I'm a pharmacist by profession, as you said. I registered with the Pharmacy Council in 2015 after passing my professional examination that year. But before that, I obtained my B.Pharm degree from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Kumasi, in 2013. And I did my national service and internship that year from 2013 to 2015. After graduation and completion of my pharmacy registration, I decided to become a seminarian in order to be ordained a priest in the future. So I'm now in theology 3, hoping to go for my long pastorals at the end of the academic year. So that's a brief introduction of myself.
Thank you very much, and it is good to hear that you are in good standing with the Pharmacy Council of Ghana. I would want to ask you, who is a pharmacist?
A pharmacist is a healthcare professional who specializes in the area of discovery of drugs or medicine, manufacturing, dispensing, and even looking at matters after the person has taken the drug. So his work does not end when a person takes the drug. Even after taking the drug, he is to make sure that the drugs are taken in the right way, in the right manner, and stored in the right way. And even look at the side effects that the patient may even complain of after the patient has taken the drug. So we as pharmacists, we have a lot of work to do. A pharmacy is not restricted to the shop we know as pharmacy shop, which is not the right name. The name is the pharmacy. And in the area of hospital, pharmacists are into research. They are into pharmacovigilance. That means when after a long time you have taken the drug, you go ahead to make sure that the drug is doing well in the market. So these are the things that a pharmacist does. He even is into the area of academia, so that he can train more people to become pharmacists. So the pharmacy is a field where there are a lot of things involved. So we're talking about pharmacist. The pharmacist is basically somebody responsible for the use of drug even after the patient has finished taking the drug. So our work is basically about drugs.
Wow, thank you very much on that brief expose on who a pharmacist is. In your expose, you mentioned that the pharmacist is not restricted only to a pharmacy, and you also tried to help us know that it is not called a pharmacy shop but a pharmacy. So I would like to ask, what is the difference between a pharmacy and a drugstore?
A pharmacy and a drugstore. Now before I answer this question, I want us to look at something. I want to make a correction. When you say a drugstore, it's a place where drugs are sold. Drugs are sold. Now there's a difference between a drug and a medicine. A drug is any chemical that have any effect on the body and the mind. And this effect can be a positive effect or a negative effect. But a medicine is a substance taken into the body with the aim or purpose of treatment or alleviating pain. So from this, we see that a drug is having both positive and negative connotation. But mostly when you mention a drug, it's having a negative connotation. But medicines have positive connotation because medicines are for the treatment of sickness or illness. So, because of this understanding of drug and medicine, we have moved the name drugstore toward over-the-counter medicine stores. So now if you go to a town, you not see any billboard written on it, drugstore. What you see on their billboard is what? Over-the-counter medicine seller. So here bring out the two differences between medicine and a drug. Medicines have positive connotation. So all these things here are medicine.
Okay.
But I want to say that all medicines are drugs, but not all drugs are medicine. Now, a medicine, as I said, have positive and negative connotation. Let's look at marijuana. Drug have negative and positive. Medicine, a drug have negative and positive connotation. But medicine have only positive connotation because they are used for treatment. So when you look at this here, they are all medicines. And they can be classified as what? Drugs too. Because they have a positive connotation of treatment. But when you say something is a drug, sometimes it brings the negative connotation more than the positive connotation. For example, when I say, oh, I'm a drug dealer. I'm a pharmacist, so I can say I'm a drug dealer. But when I come to say I'm a drug dealer, you think that I deal in cocaine or marijuana. So because of this negative connotation, we don't use the name drugstore again. We use over-the-counter medicine store.
Okay.
You understand it?
Yes.
I know you asked me the difference between medicine and drugstore like that, but I want us to understand it before I continue. Now, in the area of pharmacy and over-the-counter medicine, we will look at two groups of drugs. We have prescription-only medicine and over-the-counter medicine. Prescription-only medicines are prescribed by specialists and are used for specific conditions. So unless a specialist prescribes that drug for you, you cannot go to the pharmacy or over-the-counter medicine store to procure that. And over-the-counter medicine are medicines that are used to treat diseases of common occurrence, just as malaria, headache, and stomach ache. Those ones you can just walk in the pharmacy and tell the person, this is what is wrong with me. Not walk into a pharmacy and tell the person that, oh, I want this drug. No. You tell the person that this is my condition. Then you look at analyze your complaint, then give your drugs, appropriate drugs to you. So in the pharmacy, we sell both prescription-only medicine and over-the-counter medicine. But in a drugstore, it is only for over-the-counter medicine. We don't sell prescription-only medicine in a drugstore. And in the pharmacy, it is supervised by what? A pharmacist. The pharmacist is the one who is supposed to superintend the activities in the pharmacy. So if the pharmacist is not in the shop is supposed to be locked down or closed for the day. By the technician, he will hand over the activity to the technician to go ahead with work whilst he go on break, or he goes to do something else and come back. So a pharmacist is under the care of a pharmacist. But for the over-the-counter medicine, anybody who has a higher educational background, who can read and understand the symptoms of a person, can be given the license to operate a over-the-counter medicine. So as you are here, maybe after school, or your sister who is a nurse or something, who because of the health conditions in the area, they want to help the people, and he's not a pharmacist, he can open an over-the-counter medicine where he needs to register with the pharmacy council. So that's the difference between a drugstore, which is no more a drugstore, but over-the-counter medicine, and a pharmacy.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, talking about the procurement of medicine or drug from the pharmacy or over-the-counter shop, I would want to ask, what rules govern that, or how do you go about that? Is it appropriate to walk just into a pharmacy or an over-the-counter medicine shop to procure medicine for treatment?
To that, I'll say no, because we have self-medication. That is what you are trying to do. When you walk into a pharmacy shop, a pharmacy, or you walk into a drugstore, which is now over-the-counter medicine store, and you tell the person that I want to buy this drug, you are doing self-medication. And self-medication is bordered on two areas. Now, diagnosing yourself and going ahead to buy drug for that or medicine for that condition is called self-medication. Or using previous prescription from a doctor to procure that medication when the condition reoccur, or continually buying of that medication is called self-medication. So you sit in your room, experiencing headache or some kind of symptoms, and say, oh, my son, go and buy me this drug, it's self-medication. Or you remember that when I went to a doctor the other time, he gave me this drug when I was having this. Then you ask your son or yourself, you go to the pharmacy or the over-the-counter medicine store, so I want this drug. It was given to my doctor previously. You are doing self-medication, which is not good.
Okay, I want to come in with the question, how different is self-medication from first aid?
Now, as I said, self-medication is you have diagnosed yourself and you have prescribed that for yourself. We are using previous medication or previous treatment to treat recurrent condition. That is self-medication. But first aid is what? Emergency condition. There's an emergency. So we are giving that condition drug to the person to treat the condition before he seeks medical advice. So that is what first aid. So we are giving something to the person so that the condition can reduce before you can rush the person to hospital. But the Pharmacy Council Act or Health Regulatory Act, Section 4, which concerns pharmacists, in Section 105 states that a pharmacist or his supporting staff can provide first aid to a patient or person with a condition of common occurrence. What is important here is what? Condition of common occurrence. So if the person is having malaria, you know malaria is always common. So because of malaria, you should go to hospital, which a pharmacist is an expert in health. So he can also treat the person in the pharmacy. But if it persists for more than 3 days or 4 specific days, then he has to go to a hospital. So what the pharmacist is doing is called first aid. Because you are not treating yourself. You've complained to the person, and the pharmacist is mandated by law to provide this assistance to you in case of emergency. So that it's not everything you have to rush to the hospital for treatment. So first aid is to help you for some number of days to see whether you can get to work. That's for emergency case. Then you go and see doctor later on. And the other one, which is self-medication, is you have diagnosed yourself and you have used the drug for yourself. So there are two different things. So what you do in the drugstore or over-the-counter medicine store and the pharmacy is called medical aid or first aid, and not self-medication diarrhea.
Okay, and then there's this notion that treatment at the hospital or the use of orthodox medicine is based on trial and error. How or what do you think about that assertion, that notion that people have?
So when you say trial and error, it means that you are giving a substance to the person to see whether it will work or there will be a result. If there's no result, you try other alternatives. Now, when you look at the treatment that we have in the hospital, it is not based on trial and error. If you were to try and error, just walk into a hospital, they look at you, all those who are having headache, come here, take this drug and go and take and come. No. You see the doctor will write lab to confirm your condition. Immediately your condition is confirmed, then they can go ahead to give specific drug to that condition. So if you are not based on trial and error, we know this is what will wrong with you. We know this is the drug that will be used for you. So, and if you use this drug well, it will work for you. So it is not based on trial and error. If it is hypertension, we give drug for hypertension. You know that this drug and this drug are for hypertension. Maybe the notion of trial and error will come in place when a particular class of drug does not work for a person but works for another person. That one is not trial and error. Because we are different. I am fat, somebody is slim. I am of a different genotype, another person is of a different genotype. We have different DNA, different structures. So this shows that we cannot succumb, or the treatment should not be the same for us. Maybe some conditions, the same drug for everybody. But maybe we call it hypertension like this. Our hypertensive condition may be from different sources. So this drug may not help you. That doesn't mean that it is trial and error. Just that it is not appropriate for your condition. So it's not a trial and error condition that we do. You look at your condition and you give the drug appropriately for you.
Okay. And so the people who are of this view of trial and error in their treatment at the hospital, they are usually those who use herbal medicine. So how effective is herbal medicine as compared to orthodox medicine in your view as a pharmacist?
As a pharmacist, from the beginning from my introduction, I said a pharmacist is a person whose activity starts from the manufacturing of the drug to even after taking of the drug. So from the discovery of the drug, it is the pharmacist's responsibility to look at the activities or chemicals that we can mix to bring about that drug. So herbal medicines are very potent drugs. We normally advise that if you want to go for herbal medicine, go for herbal medicine. If you want to go for orthodox medicine, go for orthodox medicine. But what we don't advise is that you don't mix herbal medicine and orthodox medicine. Why? Because most of the herbal medicines or orthodox medicine are from the herbal medicine you are taking every day. So there are some active ingredients in the herbal medicines that we study their structure, and from there we get the orthodox medicine. So if you are taking the herbal medicine, taking the orthodox medicine, you are taking the artificial form of that natural drug on the person. Now what we have with the herbal medicine is that the condition under which the drugs are prepared. We normally take herbal medicine, but we don't know how to preserve it, how to prepare it so that it can be clean to drink. You go to the villages, somebody has prepared herbal medicine. If you look at the pot in which the person has prepared the herbal medicine, it is not hygienic. The water the person is using to prepare the herbal medicine, it is not hygienic. And these things all will contribute to other conditions. Another area is looking at the quantity the person will have to take. You and I know that when you go to the village to herbal medicine, you just find any quantity you take, then you are gone. So we don't know the quantity that will be suitable for a person to how we can use herbal medicine. So there are ideas, and based on ideas, belief system, we use those herbal medicine, which is not helping. So as for me, I advise those who want to do herbal medicine can go herbal medicine. If you want to go orthodox medicine too, you can do orthodox medicine, but you don't have to combine the two and take the same thing.
Okay, and there is this issue of faith and science, where some people resort to spiritual or religious assistance when they are ill. And as a seminarian and a pharmacist, I want to ask you about your view on the treatment that people seek at prayer camps instead of hospitals.
If I want to talk about this issue,
Yeah. Treatment at people seeking healing as prayer camps instead of hospitals. The seminarian and the pharmacist. What do you tell these people?
As a seminary pharmacist, I always advise people that it's not every condition that you have to sort direct prayer. Now, as a pharmacist and a seminarian, anytime I come to treat somebody, I first pray over the medicine that, oh God, direct me to know the drug, appropriate drug to give to this person, or direct me to make appropriate diagnosis. I am using my religion, and at the same time, I'm using my profession. Now other people sought treatment based only on faith. You have headache, there's paracetamol there for you. There's diclofenac there for you. There's a particular drug when you take, your headache is gone. But you sought to prayer. God, who created us in His own image and likeness. So He has given that idea to people that if somebody is sick, this is the drug the person is to take. So I believe in a system that, as a pharmacist or as a healthcare professional, you should know the line between when the person needs a drug and when the person needs prayer. There's nothing wrong combining the two. But I first make sure that we give where it is needed for a particular condition to use a drug, then you add prayer to it. Let's look at malaria, for instance. You have malaria until you are rushing the person to prayer camp. What is wrong with you? What is wrong if you rush the person to a pharmacy or over-the-counter medicine store, procure that herbal medicine or drug for the person, then you later send the person to the pastor to pray over the person as the person is taking the drug, so that God will grant what? Speedy recovery or healing to the person. You see the two.
Yeah.
I know of a man who was suffering from asthma. The wife rushed the person to the prayer camp so that they can pray over the person first. Then when they go to prayer camp, the pastor says, this condition is by the devil. So they started praying for the man. Before they realized the man is gone. What is wrong if the woman had taken the man to the hospital, they put him on asthma medication, then go to the pastor, say, Pastor, my husband is sick, come and pray over him. That is where faith and science meet. That is when healthcare and prayer meet. Because the person is sick, he needs God's intervention to recover. So here, you can call on the man of God to come and pray over the person. God gave us this wisdom so that we can treat the person. He also needs our prayers so that He can grant healing to this person. So my idea of going for prayer camp is, I don't want to be biased, but I think that the right thing is to go to your hospital first. Then you call on the person, the man of God, to come and pray over the people. And you go to the prayer camp, you see a lot of conditions deteriorating because they're based on their condition or not supernatural spirit, which is very, very bad.
Thank you, Selassie Francis. We would like to end our discussion, but I want to ask you if you have anything to share with our faithful, our cherished viewers about how to live a healthy life. Something brief for our faithful.
My beloved faithful, it is a great opportunity that I share with you this knowledge granted to me. Based on the last question about faith and science, I would say we need God for healing, but we can also do something for ourselves as we pray to God to heal us. Since I'm a pharmacist, I would like to end with my advice on the use of drugs. Drugs are very important. Drugs are very good. Even though some of them experience side effects, does not mean that drugs are very bad. The use of the drug is what differentiates between its goodness and its badness. If you use the drug very well, you will get the benefit out of it. But if you don't use it very well, you will not get a benefit. So the area of self-medication, I would like us to put a stop to it. The right thing is to do when you are sick, go to the drugstore or what we now call over the counter medicine store and tell the person there your conditions, or the pharmacist what is wrong with you, and the pharmacist will give you the appropriate medicine to take to get your healing. And in taking your drugs, obey the instructions given to you by your pharmacist or the over-the-counter medicine seller. Some of us, we are used to the old system of taking drug. That is morning, afternoon, evening. And morning, after evening, we have different times in the morning, different times in the afternoon, different times in the evening. I cannot tell you all the times now, but what the most important thing is that you have to listen to your pharmacist and your over-the-counter medicine sellers or health experts in order to get maximum benefit from the use of drugs. Remember, drugs are not food, but you can make food your drug, not drug your food. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Farm Selassie, for your time and for sharing these great ideas with us on drugs. We hope to have you with us another time, and may God really bless you in all your endeavors.
Thank you
very much.